Hey guys, Ken Smith Fishing. I've got two products I want to show you guys this week, both of which are relatively new to me. The first one I want to show you is something that initially I did not get. Well, let me just back up. So 6 Sense has come out now with a line of hard bait and jig boxes, cases, coffins, whatever you want to call them. And when I saw this, I liked the idea of it because I've always carried baits in these. And it's a mess, right? But years ago, a friend of mine had bought some of those Bass Mafia coffins that had this soft material in them. And I thought, I saw it, I didn't pick it up, I saw it and I thought those were cool. So I ordered some and they were really, really heavy. And I've had one in the boat. It didn't stay in the boat 2 or 3 weeks just because it was hard to get out of boxes when it was in a tight place and it was heavy and I didn't want the weight in the boat. So I put it up in the boat barn. 6 months later, somebody asked about it and they said, I've been thinking about getting one. And I said, it's yours, take it. I just literally gave it away. So I was hesitant about buying one of these for the same reason. I assumed that it was really, really heavy. It occurred to me as I was talking to you guys that Sarah's got a really nice digital scale because she's got one of those stamps deal. And I just weighed that box. So that box with all the jerkbaits completely full weighs 2.2 pounds. So it weighs very, very little. Now, here's an interesting question. This box, which I counted, has 17 baits left in it. And it's just a plain old, I think that's a 3600 style box. That one weighs 1.8 ounces with those jerkbaits. So there's very, very little difference in this box versus this box from a weight standpoint. But what I like and what I disliked, by the way, couple of notes here. So this is what I have 3 of these boxes. I have a shallow jerkbait box or rip bait box. I have a deep one. And then I have one that's nothing but shadow wraps. And the reason for that is I drive back and forth to Houston for work some. And I used to always stop at the Gander Mountain in Corsicana just as a break on the way home. And generally I spent a little bit of money in there. And I walked in there one night and they were going out of business. And they had all their baits were 40 to 60 or 70% off, and I bought every shadow wrap and every shadow wrap crankbait they had. And I've not used near as many of them as I thought I would, but you know how that happens. You get in there, you get a little bit of a buying frenzy. So I've got 3 of these boxes. And I was curious, so this box will hold 20 baits, and I was curious how many baits were in this box. And there were 37 baits in this box like that. Right? Which is just a mess when you're fishing on the water and you're out there shaking baits and trying to get them loose. And it really makes it easy if you get any moisture in these at all to get rust. And if you know you get rust on one, you get rust on all of them. So I was really attracted to this, especially because jerkbaits are just expensive. I mean, they're $6 to $25 according to what you're fishing with. So I ordered one of these, and I didn't tell you how I found out that it's so light. I actually was in Fishing World, and they had a bunch of these on the wall, and I just went over there and picked one up, and I'm like, holy cow, this thing doesn't weigh anything. So I decided to go ahead and order one. So it is, I thought I would also show you what will fit in here and what I have figured out will not fit in here. So obviously 6 Sense crankbaits fit in here really good, and I made a note so I remember everything I have in here. So we have a 6 Sense, we have Megabass Vision 110s, they fit in here really good. I've got a Lucky Craft over here somewhere that's a Lucky Craft Rick Clunn STX jerkbait, it fits in here good. I love my jerkbait of preference before 6 Sense came out with jerkbaits was the Pointer SP bait, which is that 2-hook jerkbait. It's a little bit smaller profile bait, but you can throw it a mile. That fits in here, as does the same version of this bait with the deeper hook. This bait also, that's an Excalibur bait with a big, deep jerkbait bill on it. That will fit in here. Matter of fact, there's that deeper running Pointer in there. And then a shallow and a deep running shadow wrap. The Livingston baits will fit in here as well. I think that's everything I tried to get in here that fit. The only thing that I tried to get in here that really did not fit was the old traditional big long Smithwick rope. So I don't throw those that much because they are so hard to throw because they don't weigh anything. So I really don't think I'm gonna miss those. But I am gonna order 2 more of these. I'm gonna finish off the few baits in here that I want. Then I'm gonna add some more shadow wraps in here. And I've also got some more 6 cents baits still hanging on the hooks. I've really not had 6 cents jerk baits. You know, they sold out last year, so I wasn't able to stock up. But now as we come back into jerk bait season, I've got some colors that I hadn't been carrying that I'll add to this. And then the last box I'm gonna do just with my deep jerk baits. I don't carry those a lot. Now, Live Scope is changing that some for me, but since I don't carry them a lot, I like having them in there and just knowing where they are, and I can go get them if I need to, and I don't have to have them go. So I really like this little setup. And again, it folds up, it doesn't take much space, and it weighs very little. So 2.2 pounds completely full of crankbaits. So that's number 1. The second thing I want to talk to you about, and I'm gonna put that jerk bait up before I reach right here and put it in my own hand, is, sorry guys, I had a little brain fart there. And yes, by the way, I do have a Minions t-shirt on, and I think these guys have really gotten stiffed by the Academy. I think Stewart is maybe one of the best actors. I mean, they totally carry Steve Carell in those movies. I don't know how Stewart has not even been nominated for a Best Supporting Actor award, but he hasn't yet, so I'm hopeful that'll happen. But I want to talk to you a little bit about the 6 Cents Divine umbrella rig, or A-rig. So, as you guys know, I was a very early adopter. We won a tournament on Rayburn with them with a huge stringer one day. I won a bunch of money with them. First tournament I ever fished with them was on Toledo Bend, and Billy Klein literally told me, "What do you mean you're not throwing one? You need to go get one of these." And he was one of the first guys I know to throw one and really catch them down here. So, like everybody, my first A-rigs were the Flash Mob Juniors. And it worked fine, but what we learned pretty quick on them was 2 things. The swivels were cheap, and then once they got bent a few times, the arms would break off. And if you guys remember that video Gary Frazier and I did in December 4 years ago on Texoma, where we were catching all those stripers, we would get a striper that long on, and another one run up and grab a bait and shake his head and just break that arm off and take it with him. And those were all those Flash Mob Juniors. So I graduated from Flash Mob Junior, and I found Hog Farmer baits. And I was throwing the Hog Farmer, what I think they now call the King Spin, but basically they're 5-wire rig. But back then, those things were $26, $28 a piece. So I found Shane's baits. You know, guys, I talked a lot about this. They make a bait that I think is a fine bait. It's called the Fifth Element, and that's been sort of my go-to A-rig. But, so Flash Mob, I think, has upgraded some of their hardware, but their wire is still very thin. You catch 3 or 4 fish on it, and you still are running the risk of getting your wire broke off. So for me, tournament fishing, I'm gonna either want to throw a Hog Farmer or a Shane's baits, and now this bait. So, and I'm not gonna get this one out of the package, but what I will tell you from throwing it a little bit, and we're not in the right period of time yet, but it's got a very good connector, so the wire should not break before you catch a whole bunch of fish. And they put very nice, I'm gonna call them robust, snap swivels on these things. And that is extremely key if you're catching fish 3 to 10 pounds, and even on OHIV, you know, they're catching 14 and 15 pounders on an A-rig. The other thing I'm gonna tell you about this bait is, so the Flash Mob Junior right now on the internet, I looked it up, it's selling for $13.79. The Hog Farmer King Spin, and that, you know, you got to pay freight on some of these if you don't spend $50 or $100. The Hog Farmer King Spin is $19.99. And the little bait that I've thrown so much the last several years is the Shane's Fifth Element bait, and that bait's $17.50. This bait is $14.99 on the rack, but every day you can use the code KEN10 and get 10% off and pay $13.49. And on top of it, and by the way, they're in stock right now. On top of that, the Labor Day sale's going on this weekend at 6 cents, and you can get 20% off. So you can buy that bait right now. I think that works out to $11.99. I'm gonna check my own math right there. So 14, yep, so $11.99 for one of those baits right now. And you know, if you spend $75 or more, it's free ground shipping with 6 cents. So I'm really impressed with the bait, the quality they put into the bait. It's got very good swivels on it, so the blades spin really easy, should not come apart on you. And at this point, it's 30 cents cheaper with 10% off than the Flash Mob Junior, but it's a much superior bait, and it's $3 to $6, $8 less than the other two baits that I've been using. So that's my new bait. So thought I'd share that with you guys. The bait coffins are not inexpensive. I think they're 39 bucks a piece. Let me check that for you guys. Yeah, so they're 39 bucks a piece. They're not inexpensive, but you get 4% off of that, 8 bucks off of it right now on the Labor Day sale, so you can buy them for about 30 bucks a piece, and they're in stock. The other one I'm gonna buy is they make one that holds jigs, and you can double and maybe even triple stack them. So, because in the springtime, I carry so many swim jigs, so many colors and different weights. I want to have one of those boxes just for my swim jig, so I'm looking forward to that. One other thing I did just buy myself that I've not tried yet is I've been wanting these bait covers for when you put a big crankbait or something that's got lots of hooks in it back in the rod box so they don't get all tangled up. So I just ordered those and got those. Those will also be 20% off right now. And then don't forget also, I have always, for years and years, so Tackle Warehouse's Labor Day still starts. It probably starts today, the day you guys are seeing this. And my experience was that's when I always bought all of my fishing line. I would go on there and get all my Seaguar. I'd buy 1,000-yard spools. You can get them for a pretty big discount. And again, with them, if you spend 50 bucks, it's free shipping. So I would buy all my line every year. Right now, I don't have to anymore, thank goodness, because Seaguar is good to me. But it's nice to be able to buy your line at a very significant discount. And if you buy a roll of 15 and a 20, you pretty much got your line covered with 1,000 yards for a really long period of time. So check out 6 cents, 20% off Labor Day sale. And of course, the big Labor Day sale also going over at Tackle Warehouse as well for the rest of the stuff that you might need. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you found that interesting or helpful, and we'll see y'all next week.